Don't make the same mistake I did. You go in too cheap, they're gonna treat you like a trash can. Hey guys, this is Jackson here. So today we're gonna talk about customers. Customers is always maintaining a love and hate relationship with you. You love them because they are your choice sanye. They are the reason why your company is still sustaining until now. You hate them because sometimes they give you the most ridiculous requests. So today I'm gonna share with you my top 5 mistakes that I've made managing customers as a business and as a freelancer, so that you can actually take reference from it and learn from my mistake. So the first mistake I made is that I go in too cheap with my services. So this actually happens to me 4 years ago when I was still a freelancer doing video for my client. I actually approached my first customer. I remember doing 4 videos for him, but with the pricing of only 2,500. Shooting, lighting, editing, motion graphic, and even script writing also. We actually face a problem where we are not being respected as an individual and as a professional. He actually take our advice and then squash it down on the floor and ask us to follow his advice instead. We are not gonna be respected as a professional, but we are gonna be treated as a newbie who is new in the market. So people will fully take leverage on that, take full advantage of you. Your services have value. Make sure you maintain your dignity and the value, or else you are a newbie in the market. That's what they think of you. So the second mistake I made is that I do not follow up with any sales meeting that I had. Back then when I first started this venture, I have a lot of successful first meeting with a very strong proposal, very strong first impression. Everything goes fine and dandy. I thought that they're gonna come back to me and ask for better pricing and stuff like that. I did the worst thing that I could. I waited, and that actually cost me a lot. They actually take all the ideas and take all the effort and ask someone else to execute the planning and the content. You might not be their first choice, but they will always be your first choice. This is very important. So make sure you are closely following up with all the clients that you think have high potential, or else it is very high chance they're just gonna dump you off and then go for someone else who is as competent and as valuable as you. Third mistakes I made: lacking in details. So services, especially in the artistic industry, you are very hard to justify all the things that you are doing. So sometimes when we first started out in the venture, we actually missed out all those things and we took it for granted. We put everything in one lump sum of the quotation or the booking form and we submitted to the client. So I have this one case scenario where we were shooting a F&B client back then, 2-3 years ago. We only summarized the content as one single item without additional details: videography services. And then we charge a price with that. So because of the lack of details in the deliveries, the client actually expected us to bring a host to come and feature their product and services, which we did not promise in the first place. But for some reason, he remembers it correctly that during the pitching, we actually mentioned something like that. With the lack of details in the booking form itself, it actually bite back to us and we end up giving more than what we could offer in the first place. So that is a very painful experience, and from that moment on, that I always take into mind that whatever services that we're going to provide, no matter how small it is, we must make sure that we put it into the booking form in order for the client to justify that these are the services that we're going to be providing. The fourth mistakes I made is oversee the payment term, where the company chooses when or where to make payment for you after your services has concluded. So a lot of freelancers and businesses kind of sidetrack and overlook about the payment term. It is very important because it can greatly affect your current cash flow. The client from the first mistake that I have made actually gave me my third mistakes, which I have overlooked the payment term given by him. In the invoices, I did not specify how long I need to pay. When I first ventured into this, all I can think of is once I deliver, the payment should be immediate. How naive I was. The client actually took advantage of this and then told us that their management have a 1 month to 2 months payment term for new supplier like us. So during that time, we actually needed to wait 2 to 3 months for our payment to come in. And trust me, for newbie, for freshies, that time, it's not easy at all. Make sure you list out the payment term as clearly as possible. You're not gonna survive that, man. Especially if you are still a very small business. So the fifth mistake I made, I did not record in black and white. And this is quite similar to the third one, but this one is much more severe. So a few years ago, we have one client in Ipoh, and then they are actually doing real estate. So The initial proposal goes like this. We propose to shoot some of the tourism in Ipoh and then correlate with the property that he's selling as well. Verbally, he agrees, and then he said, okay, that's a good idea, and asked us to proceed. A few weeks later, once we have completed the project, we actually came out with the final product with him, and then we showcased to him. He actually turned around, U-turned, and told us that this is not exactly what he wanted. He said there is no black and white record, there is no written, there is no tags recorded what he said regarding the tourism that he approved. He actually took up the responsibility and go and reshoot the entire thing. His new idea with his new perspective where he said he already told us. Without the black and white, you're actually facing a very big uncertainty where the client might just suddenly U-turn and tell you that this is not what he wanted, and then you might end up losing a client, or you might even give extra to secure this client further. Black and white is to ensure that there is a mutual trust between you and him, so that if anything bad happens, at least you have a backup plan to protect and safeguard your own interests. So that 5 is the mistakes I made during my journey as a videographer, video production, and even a business itself. And I hope this one can help you in the future if you are managing your customers. Make sure you do not make the same mistakes I make, and then I can assure you that all clients' expectation will be very well managed by you and you will have a very smooth sailing. So I hope you enjoyed the topic today. I'm Jackson, and I'll see you guys next time. Done! Woo! Tired.